Hello everyone. I hope all of you are in your pink of health. In our last videos, we saw the life of Joseph in Canaan, how his brothers sold him to Egypt, and in Egypt he becoming the most powerful person, the governor of Egypt. Years later, a great famine struck Canaan, and how his brothers came to Egypt for food grains. Joseph recognizes his brothers and helps them supplying food grains. He also tests whether his brothers have changed their behavior towards him. Today's story is about Joseph's family moving to Egypt. Now, my dear friends, Joseph cannot control his feelings any longer. He tells all his servants to leave the room. Now, when he is alone with his brothers, Joseph begins to cry. We can imagine how surprised his brothers are because they do not know why he is crying. Finally, Joseph says, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" His brothers, hearing this, were so surprised that they couldn't speak. They were so scared. But Joseph says, "Please come closer to me." When they did, he says, "I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt." Joseph told them, "Now, my dear brothers, do not blame yourself or feel sad because you sold me here. It was really God who sent me to Egypt to save people's lives and your lives too. Pharaoh has made me the ruler of the whole country. So, now hurry back to my father and tell him all about this. Tell him to come and live here." Joseph throws his arms around his brothers and he hugs and kisses them all. Now, when Pharaoh hears that Joseph's brothers have come, he tells to Joseph, "Let them take wagons and go to their father and their families and come back here. I will give them the best land in all Egypt." That is what they did. My dear friends, you can see Joseph meeting his father when he comes to Egypt with his whole family. Friends, Jacob's family had become now very big. Altogether, there were 70, apart from their wives and servants. 70 by counting Jacob, his children and grandchildren. Now all of them settled in Egypt. They are now called Israelites because God had changed the name of Jacob to Israel. The Israelites became a very special people to God. I'll be telling more about them in the coming stories. How did you like today's story? And what can we learn from the series of Joseph's life? My dear friends, God chose Joseph to preserve his father's entire family by enabling them to move from Canaan to Egypt. In this move, the Hebrew nation would prosper and numerically grow to become a great nation as promised by God to Abraham. My dear friends, all this happened because of the divine plan and purpose God had for Joseph's life. This is actually what Joseph told his brothers when they came to Egypt. Joseph said, "My dear brothers, God sent me before you to preserve for you a remnant on earth and to keep alive for you many survivors. So, it was not you who sent me here, but God." Joseph realized that all that had happened to him was ordained by God and became the main purpose in his life. My dear friends, God's divine plan becomes a great source of blessing for all believers. The lesson what we can learn is all the events of a believer's life are controlled by God's divine plan. God's divine plan, when experienced, always result in his blessings. It is written in Romans 8:28 that we know that God makes all his works cooperate together for the good of those who love God, those who are the ones called according to his purpose. Hence, my dear friends, God's divine plan gives purpose and meaning to a believer's life. Now, let's all live a life according to God's purpose. I hope you all enjoyed today's story. Until I come up with another beautiful story, do stay safe and healthy. Your loving Benzie Auntie. Bye. Take care.